You're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod. Enjoy the ride.
I gotta record back up.
Hello, and welcome to the 95th episode of the Slow Ride Podcast. This is Tim Hayes in Orlando, Florida. Beep, beep,
Hey,
beep.
this is Matt in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And this is Spencer Howe in Boston, Massachusetts. Guys, how you doing this week?
Oh, I'm doing great.
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
No complaints. No complaints. I made it all the way through this past weekend's bike swap in Boston here without making any stupid purchases. So I'm feeling pretty good. Gotta say.
See, no, that's wrong. You can't have fun or win a bike swap without at least one stupid purchase. Come on, there's got to be something.
The problem I had is that I went in with zero cash and was going to allow myself to make stupid purchases with any money I made. And
You
I
didn't
made
sell anything.
I made no money. Yeah, so
All right.
Why
I
didn't
think
you
I
not?
whittled down.
Why didn't you make any money?
Probably
Well, I
trying to
think
sell that
I-
BFC,
yeah.
weren't you?
No, yeah, actually.
Okay.
That's the problem with bike swaps, is trying to sell full builds.
Yeah, no, I was trying to sell the frame, but
Who goes to
so
a
if
bike
anyone
swap
needs
for-
a full suspension BMC mountain bike, let me know. But I've pretty much been taking the same bag of parts to every swap for the last 8 years or so, and I think I've really gotten down to the dregs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, do you have any of those Time Ronald McDonald Velcro shoes, like the old red and yellow Time shoes in that pile? Because I still have mine.
You had a pair of those, yeah.
Yeah, I still have
remember.
them in the swap box.
No, I don't have any of those. I'm pretty sure you probably would have purchased all of them off of me if I had any.
Tim, were those the Ronald McDonald ones? Were those the ones that broke on a ride you and me went on? We were like east side of St. Paul. We had to go to like a CVS pharmacy or some shit so you could get, I don't know what the hell you bought to fix your cleat. You went in there and bought screws at a pharmacy. This was like we had like no tools, no ability to fix anything.
I don't
We're
know
at
what
a
you're talking about.
store.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was
These are
probably the
high
Ronald
quality-
McDonald shoes.
These are high quality cycling shoes that have never been worn before.
Top dollar, man.
New old stock, yeah.
So, what do you have in your swap bucket, little guy? Like, I mean, I've got those Ronald McDonald shoes. I have quite a few random ATAC pedals. What's your like standby that you always bring to the bike swap that never sells?
Well, it's turning into these old rotor cranks. I can't sell the rotor cranks, and I've got three. I don't remember it's a physique saddle. I've got three of them. They're Caitlin's. It's like a women's specific saddle. I bring them to the swap. I've got three of varying states of like brand new to like pretty trashed, and like people pick them up and look at them, and no one will ever commit, and it's driving me nuts. I'm trying to give them away at this point almost. They're really nice saddles. I forget what model it is. It's too wide for me. I can't ride it. That's it.
I also have a few like wool cycling jerseys that I bought at a old one-on-one bike swap for $5, and I've been trying to sell them for $15. And people will try to undercut me. Like they'll try to be like, "I'll give you 10." I'm like, "No, 15." And I've been holding on to these jerseys for a while now. So like,
just take it.
that's the goal.
You've already lost the money on like packing space the like 9 times you've moved.
Yeah,
I know, but
that's
it's
true.
the principle of the matter that I'm trying to show that the market is not always correct.
You
You
know what?
didn't just blow them out at the bike shop?
No, what
that was
bike
your,
shop?
That was your
Like,
fatal mistake.
The bike shop doesn't exist anymore. I
Yeah.
will say
Well,
that
it did.
having that bike shop email account's been pretty handy as of lately. So I'm still like, they haven't turned off all my logins at all the accounts that I used to operate out of, so I can still log into people, like just to see what the cost is. It's been pretty handy,
Very
so I
nice.
can still get the part
Very nice.
numbers.
Well, you know what I'm stuck with in swap land is I somehow have a giant stockpile of front derailleurs.
Yeah,
And-
you can't sell those.
Yeah, the way that cycling is going, I don't think I'm ever going to move them at this point. Like, everybody's going to one buy, and
It's a dwindling.
We haven't even talked about this ever. Does this make sense to you guys on a road bike? It makes zero sense to me on a road bike. I know, like, was it like Cannondale or Specialized? One of them was trying to sell a crit bike with no front derailleur tab.
yeah.
And, like, you
Dude.
buy it with just one ring. That is stupid. How big of a disadvantage is having, like, a 43-gram chain ring and maybe 100 grams of bolt? So you're down maybe 150 grams, and then you can go up a hill.
You're down the equivalent weight of a haircut, but
You can climb.
you get the added bonus of the excitement of your chain falling off and not trying to figure out what to do with it in a 200-person pack at 30 miles an hour. So
Stupid.
you know,
I don't
it's-
understand.
Hey,
I
you gotta
feel like
spice
I
things
feel
up.
like a weird old person.
Yeah, you are.
The kids today.
I think it's
You know,
more
Spencer-
embarrassing. Little guy, the most embarrassing part about the one buy setup is the giant freaking cog you have to have on the back of the bike.
It does look
Yeah.
stupid.
Like
I
that's
agree.
the
I don't
it's like
enjoy
almost
the
having
look.
one of those derailleur plates that kind of protect you from the derailleur, like going into
Yeah.
the wheels.
Well,
But
it remember the good old days of like of cycling. It was like a badge of honor to rock that straight block. You know, this is like even before our time, but like 7-speed,
Yeah.
8-speed cassettes. And if you had to have anything that skipped more than maybe one tooth, it was like admitting already that you were too weak to win the race. If you're a real man, you have a straight block on there. It starts with the smallest possible cog you can buy, straight block all the way up.
did you guys ever race with a triple chainring?
No, only you. Maybe in mountain
Nope.
bike races.
I don't even remember racing in a mountain bike race with a triple, just on the road. That's how bad things
Just
were.
on your sweet salsa.
Yeah, the Salsa, the old La Raza, the steel bike, which now I've gone full circle that I've gone back to metal for my titanium bike. And I will say that I have decided that a certain segment here in Orlando is the most important segment on Strava. And
Okay.
now the goal is to get that. And I was like, for a while, I was like 400th place on it. And I went all out with a friend on Sunday, and now I'm in 4th place. It's like a brick street. It's 0.2 of a mile long. The average speed of the winner,
Okay.
the average speed of the winner is something like 32 miles an hour. So like
You need to
you have to hit this
have
thing
somebody
fast.
get you in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the guys that have the KOM, they're legit fast. Like, this is not like just Tim's making a segment important. So I
Yeah.
went in to go like do some research on this segment, and I was looking at these guys like their rides over the last couple years. And when they got the segment, people are very excited for them. They're like, "Oh, dude, that's the most like coveted segment in Orlando." So now I'm just 2 seconds off, and since it's bricks, now with the titanium bike, I'm kind of floating along the cobbles. That I think I can get this, but I need to have
Okay.
I need to have a
2
lead out
seconds.
trade.
That's it.
But
Wow. You should go to the Olympics. You're only 2 seconds off Strava segment winning time.
see,
Sure.
little guy, that's an amazing joke that I think our listenership will never get, because that's about
No, it's just between
Team-
the three of us.
That's a great
basically.
inside joke. But 2 seconds away, but really it's 3 seconds, because Strava doesn't record tenths of a second. So you really need to I need to be 3 more seconds off. And honestly, it's going to be a push just for me to get these 2 more seconds. I mean, I've already been like 30 miles an hour over these brick segments. I thought I was going to die. And if a car comes out and I didn't even have a lead out, I'm kind of nervous. But my life now is dedicated to getting the Temple Cobbles segment in Orlando. So follow along on my Strava.
Okay. Well, best of luck, I guess, to your
You know
new
what
racing career.
Just put your elbows in. You'll get 4 seconds right there.
You know,
That's true.
everyone
Put
makes
your little
fun of my
Froomey elbows in.
Everyone makes fun of
Because
my
they're
elbows.
sticking out like Froome. Everybody makes fun of Chris Froome, and you kind of look like Chris Froome on a bike.
So what am I supposed to do, little guy?
You're supposed to push them in.
I can't. It's ergonomically impossible. Physiological impossible.
But wait, how long is
Wait.
this segment? How long is this segment?
It's
Like,
2/10 of a
Hold
mile.
on.
you can do it for that long.
Little guy.
I was in the jobs too.
I need your diagnosis, little guy. Does it
Right.
sound like Tim is the ideal candidate for some mustache bars?
He might be, because that might be his natural position. Yeah, I know, all this time. Or like at least get some of those really wide flared dirt drop bars.
Is there ever
You
been anyone
you probably
fast?
actually get faster.
Has there ever been anyone fast with mustache bars besides a
Me?
criminal?
This guy. I got some top 5 placings in the C race in cross in our first year of racing cross.
That's
with
true.
some mustache bars on my
Yeah.
bike.
All right, well,
No.
I'll look into it. I mean,
All
the
right.
elbows have always been my downfall. But that being said, we do have a lot
Yeah.
to talk about, and I think the thing
Yeah,
that's
should
on
we-
everybody's mind is
Real
Fat
bike
Bike
racing?
National Championships
Ugh.
and the failure of Derek Bouchard Hall to reclaim and defend the president's honor of USA Cycling and taking the victory. Do you guys have any updates on Fat Bike Nationals?
Did he race it, or did he just not defend the honor?
He did
because
not
was
race.
Like, I don't
He
want
did
it.
not
Okay,
race.
so that's why he didn't defend the honor, because he just didn't do it.
Because he felt it was more important to go to the hour record challenge by Evelyn Stevens, who,
Yeah, see,
by the
this
way,
is why we like
absolutely
this guy.
crushed it. Derek Bouchard Hall made the right
Yeah.
choice. No Fat Bike National updates on this channel. We're going to talk about an hour record challenge, which, for once, we all agree was actually kind of cool to watch.
I didn't watch it, so I can't agree with that, but I can say it's great that she beat the record.
Oh, she did quite well.
She crushed it.
She crushed it.
She
Yeah.
put a K in.
She was, what,
Yeah.
2/10 of a kilometer off of 48K?
Yeah.
Which is up
Just-
near
yeah.
Jeannie Lungo, who I'm sure was totally clean when she got that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What position was she using? Was she using like since hers is taken away, was she using
Yeah.
like the Superman or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, she only fell a couple of laps shy, which, sounds like not much, but we all know that's an eternity on the track.
It is, but I mean
But,
that's so close to hitting that 48K.
It really
That's
is.
just so. That's so
crushed
fast.
She crushed it, and Business Insider did a big story today about how a former Wall Street investor took the hour record. I mean, that's kind of cool that the crossover was, she got more media coverage from that one article than what most domestic pro men's teams hope for an entire year. So it was a good way to get
that's true.
coverage.
I don't know, man. You and the Hopkins Raspberry Festival, that's some press.
We did get a review on iTunes that does go into this. On My R3 said, any podcast that mentions Acton, Massachusetts and Sven Nys deserves 5 stars. And if you bring up Evelyn Stevens the next time around, note that she grew up here too. Thanks for all you do.
Huh.
And there you go.
Well, there you go.
Evelyn Stevens,
cool.
your new Hour UCI women's champion, and absolutely crushed it. That record may be untouchable for a little while.
Yeah,
I'd agree
it's
with
been
that.
going up though. I mean, it's been ticking up over the last year. So who knows? Somebody else could be out there.
And then, guys, obviously, the thing that most people know about is Umloop and KBK. And I was going to say that the winner of Umloop, and we're not, Greg Van Avermaet, sure, you can take all the credit you want, but Lizzie Armistead taking the win in the World Championship jersey, that was pretty rad. But wait,
That was
sorry,
rad.
you couldn't even watch it because they had to tell us about Peter Sagan's diet going into the final day of the Umloop.
Did they?
Yeah, like
I
you
didn't
didn't
see
even
that.
see the final sprint where Armistead totally crushes it. Instead, they're talking about Peter Sagan's preparation for Umloop at Newsvold. It was totally ridiculous.
What did he
Well-
eat? What did he eat? I need to know. Inquiring minds. I didn't see this.
I don't know.
Well,
he
Tim
ate
doesn't know
hamburgers.
either. Tim just read
Hamburgers?
about it on Twitter.
I just read about
No.
it on Twitter.
Because it was Boonin, but that's okay. All right, the point is still the same.
Former world champion,
Ah.
same idea.
Yeah. Lizzie Armistead crushed it, soloed away, won by almost 30 seconds over the rest of the pack bunch sprint. All the big names are up there, which is great to see. Hopefully we'll see it streaming live on the internet soon.
Possibly.
Yep. For the men's race, GVA, not second place. Peter Sagan
Second
is
place.
second place.
What was
Continuing where he left off.
is the
But
battle
you
of
guys-
second places.
Indeed.
Yeah, that was a great race, though.
Somebody
Is
had
it-
to lose
Someone had to lose.
and win the race.
That was a great move. Everybody in it. T. Spanoot is going to be awesome this year. I'm super excited
Yeah.
about it. Luke Rowe, where the hell did he come from? He's been a strong guy, but holy crap, did he go up the Tameberg or whatever the climb that Boone usually attacks on?
Yep.
He just flew up that thing, starting that move.
Yep.
Should
That was
we give an
impressive.
extra shout out to Rowe for wearing 0 knee warmers or arm warmers? I mean,
Was he not wearing?
everyone
armors or
else
arm
was pretty
warmers?
bundled up. That guy looked pretty tough out there.
True. I don't know. See, look, Sagan was really bundled. GVA was really bundled.
Well,
those guys are obviously
Sagan didn't need to be
the
bundled.
proest of the pro in that group. They know what's good for them.
Sagan didn't
I
need
think
to be
bundles the way to
bundled
go.
because he had the hairiest legs in the pack. Which
Does
the
he?
reports
Does he
from
still have
the-
hairy legs?
Yeah,
I didn't.
The reports
Just
from the
like
start
still-
line was that he did not shave his legs, and so he had hairy legs in the World Championship kit. That is an atrocity. Brian Cookson needs to step in and take the jersey away from him.
You know what though? I've heard that he is waiting until he wins a race in the jersey to shave them. Could there be any truth to that rumor? And if so, what's your take on it?
Really?
I want the pictures. That's what I want.
That's an elaborate. So like it's kind of like the playoff hockey beard. Like you just kind of, but the reverse, right? Like you're just gonna keep it out
Yep.
for as long as possible. All right.
Yeah, I like it. I guess I don't care if he shaves or not.
I don't
I think
know.
it's
Like
kinda
he got
funny.
married over the off season. Probably was like, I don't need to shave my legs anymore. Like I think it's just all going downhill. I think this is going to be a disaster of a season for Peter Sagan.
He's
Okay.
already having. He's already riding really well. Like
So is he?
Yeah.
Is he
I'm
riding too
impressed.
well
He-
too soon? Like I mean, it's kind of worrisome,
I don't think
isn't
so.
it?
I think it's more worrisome that GVA's riding too well too soon because he's already had some wins a couple weeks ago. Has the win here. I don't know.
So what's the
But
natural?
yeah,
what's the
you
natural
need to
cycle?
be. You need to hit around our magic number of 16. You know, at this point in the year to be good come Paris-Roubaix.
And
So-
who was like? Well, Boonen was closest of the big names because what was he like 10th or 11th or something on Saturday? So
On Saturday, yeah, he was 11.
okay,
There weren't.
perfect.
I got my eye on a certain Oscar Gatto who came in 18th on Saturday, and on Sunday the danger man is actually Caleb Ewan who came in 15th.
Well,
See,
but Gatto might already be too good. He won a race like last week. So
Sorry, guys, you're both wrong. The real winner coming into Paris-Roubaix, you guys know who it is. Edward Thunes, 8th place both days. Last time I checked, I know I'm a social studies teacher. 8 plus 8 equals 16, and therefore he
true.
is the future
Yeah,
of cycling.
but Paris-Roubaix is
And
still
can we
what?
for a second talk about
8 weeks away or something.
It's 8 weeks away, but it's a
There's a
cycle.
lot of racing to go before then.
But guys, that Trek
Yeah.
factory racing team is stacked
I
for the
suppose.
classics.
Well,
Probably
either-
the best team in the classics right now. They have to be.
No,
No.
disagree.
Who won KBK?
I think BMC was riding super well.
Who won
Lotto was
KBK?
riding super well. Obviously, Trek was riding. Yeah, a Trek rider won KBP. Doesn't
Okay.
mean the team was the best team. They
Was
rode
Fab-
really well.
Was
I'll
Fabian
give you that.
Cancellara
2 of them
even in
rode
the
really
race?
well. No, Fabian Cancellara was not in the race. Neither was Frankie Schlecki.
Okay, and we still have Thunes Van Poppel, the guy that won KBK. That's 5 solid dudes. Well, I don't know if Schlecki is solid in the classics, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so Trek Factory Racing's totally stacked for the classics.
They are. They're in a very good position. Jasper, was that his name right? Jasper, who won the race on Sunday. I've never seen this guy in my life, other than I read in the Inner Ring Kern preview, like his name at the bottom and that he opened a chocolate shop. And then he goes on and wins.
I like him already.
Yeah, he's supposed he got his chocolate shop. That was a dominant performance, though.
That was a pretty cool race.
Held off that group.
I went back and watched the 20K.
That was a good race because Kern usually kind of sucks.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do really like both these races, but they have the early season formula, which I guess you need to follow, as a training kind of thing or whatever to ease into it. But you get a couple of good climbs, and then it's about 40K a flat to the finish line, which is like it's fine, but it can lead to some not exactly interesting racing for the final hour.
But this year, good racing.
It's true. It's true.
So do you think KBK is bad because George Hincapie's no longer racing and therefore can never win again?
That's definitely probably one of its biggest downfalls as a race is that it doesn't have George Hincapie.
It is pretty sad when you go to George Hincapie's Wikipedia page and they have strike-through font on KBK 2005. Like they have it listed, but there's a line through it because it doesn't count.
Did he get it taken away?
Yes.
Did he get it taken away?
Who won it on Wikipedia, it's been taken away. So I don't know if that's just a random editor that took it away or if the UCI removed it. But
who did he hip in the sprint?
I'll have to get my Google fingers going.
I want to know. Didn't he win Ghent too or something? He won something else, didn't he? Like in the year 2000, like another semi-classic, like Schneefelepegus or something.
He doesn't win anything. Come on.
That's a good.
I think he has two minor classics wins. Schneidenfrusch, yeah. Anyway,
he beat Kevin Van Impe.
Oh, so Van Impe gets the win?
By 1 second. Yep.
So that's Van Impe's biggest win.
Probably.
And here we are every week talking about George winning that fucking race. We're gonna be getting like no star reviews from like some South African like address, and we won't know who it is. It'll just be Kevin Impey.
So
over and over. Slow Ride Podcast sucks.
Do you guys think the biggest news?
Revisionist history.
Do you guys think the biggest news of the weekend was the motorbike crash?
It's definitely big news. I mean, the other dude fell in a lake and had to swim to a concrete pillar and get rescued by a boat.
That was pretty crazy.
The fake guy at the GP Lugano.
That's pretty insane.
So, yeah, I think they're kind of on par. There's a lot of crashes, and yeah, the rider safety thing comes up again. Did you see that Edward Sepulveda or whatever, the Argentinian climber guy who got DQ'd from the Tour last year? He got hit by a barrier that got blown into the course.
Yeah, I did not see that.
He was like coming through. He was maybe finishing like in the 20s or something, all by himself. Gets hit by a blowing barrier, and now he's out for like 6 weeks. He like fractured something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Rider safety an issue again.
Is falling into a lake worse than falling off side of a mountain?
I mean, he's alive and he didn't die. I don't know. It probably was really fucking scary. Can you imagine like crashing, hitting a guardrail, and then being like, "Oh shit, what's on the other side?" He felt like the equivalent of a couple stories.
Yeah, he fell 30 feet.
So what would you be thinking about? What would you, little guy, be thinking about when you're falling those 30 stories?
I'd be thinking about how I was going to die.
Oh,
I'd be thinking about it.
I'd be thinking about like, man, you know what? Ken Herbeck really did pull Ron Gant off first base.
Really? I would I would be thinking like, oh man, I better point my toes.
Yeah, right. Like, let's swan dive this.
Do you think that there's the guy that's gonna rescue you, is gonna pick you up in the middle of the lake, and they go like, 6.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So the difference that I see between crashing into a lake, falling off a mountain, and or any of the other crashes we had, that's different from the motorbike, is that crashes happen. Yeah. You know, like.
I mean, so it feels like for years we've been watching racing, and there's always been close calls with motorcycles, and it just only in the last few years did they start actually running into people, but it doesn't feel like anything's different, I guess. You guys think something's different? Why we seem to be having so many incidents?
Well,
so I don't feel like anything's different. We're just like luck's run out.
Some people were trying to put the blame on the rider himself that got hit by the motorcycle because like he swung so far out.
I think is crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Like
I didn't see it close. It just wasn't a close enough image.
Why is there so many?
When he's pulling off the front of a lead out.
Like what? Why is there so many motorcycles?
Because there's press. Because we want to watch it on TV.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is that there doesn't seem to be a need to have a motorcycle that's constantly going up and down between the pack and the front. Like why do you need to have?
Yeah.
Like, why not go a detour? Like, hey, look, like photographers, if you want to be in the front of the peloton, take a right here and go out of the way, and then beat the peloton, and then you're at the front. Like, why do you have to pass it?
Because I, in my imagining, there's a certain number of motorcycles you probably need. The UCI says you got to have this many race commissioners, you got to have this many medical
400.
ones.
And then you got to have Graham Watson's motorcycle.
Well, but that's the thing is, I think after that point, I don't know if there's like a set number, like a maximum number the UCI lets you have, but I feel like all these races want publicity, and they're desperate enough for it that, like, if someone says they want to have a press motorcycle in the race, they're not going to say no. They're not going to say, oh no, that will be unsafe if we have one more motorcycle. They're just like, yeah, please take photos, write the name of our race on it, and print them in your newspaper or wherever. Like, it's not in their interest to not have it.
I don't think the peloton has gotten significantly bigger. I don't think the riders have gotten significantly sketchier. But there are more motorcycles, and there may be less vetted or trained or whatever. I feel like it used to be a thing, that there was this elite crew of motorcycle drivers that went around that toured around basically. They were part of the traveling circus that is bike racing, and maybe that's not so much the case anymore.
I don't know. I mean, imagine what was it like in '86 or whenever, like whoever Jesper Skibby or whoever got his wheel run over at Flanders.
Yeah,
almost got ran over as he was trying to unclip. I mean, I just feel like this stuff's happened. Maybe I don't know if this is just a symptom of it being. We have the internet. We can see the clips 1,000 times, and in 10 minutes, everybody can be up in arms. Whereas, like 15 years ago, some dude could have got taken out by a motorcycle. There'd be a one-line byline about it, and we'd never know about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not just.
But think of how many crashes there are in the race. No, but think of how many crashes there are that you don't see in a race, and you just hear like a little bit about them.
So, do you think
if it isn't like a big dramatic event?
So, two things. One, Johnny Hoogerheide got taken out by the car.
Well,
right?
Hoogerland.
Hoogerland,
that's
whatever.
Okay.
Hoogerheide, something else. And then
Johnny Race.
And then,
that's why he's such a good bike cruiser.
And then the second thing is when these bikes have motors.
Sven Nice's nickname is Johnny Hoogerheide. You're getting them all mixed up.
When these bikes have motors on them, are they gonna then is it like when a motor bike causes a crash? Is that going to be causes big of an uproar as a motorcycle causing the crash?
Oh, yeah. When if somebody crashes and then they find a motor in their bike, it's gonna cause. If somebody rider Hagedals, it's gonna be a big deal.
Did you see the UCI checking the bikes on the Lotto Jumbo team camp? Like they came by with that giant iPad thing and they were like scanning it, and then they started scanning the wheels. Like they went through the down tube and the C tube, but then they're like, hey, we're going to check the wheels for the yet-to-be-invented electromagnetic motor that can be on the rim. It was pretty impressive.
I'm sure it's been invented. It's just a matter of cash. I don't know why they thought Lotto had the cash for it. They got the Sky tent and the Astana tent and the Katusha tent.
So what team do you think, little guy, do you think it's one of those three teams that will be the first caught with a motor on their bike?
I don't know. I really have no idea. I hope nobody. I just want to say no one's going to get caught with a motor because it's so fucking stupid.
Dude, it's going to be one of those Italian teams that has like 50 sponsors on it.
No,
that somehow backs their way into the Giro. That's like, hey, we're going to get the best media coverage ever. Motor on the bike.
Well,
wait,
that's kind of a good segue into the fact that, we haven't talked about this last time, but all these teams have been leaving the MPCC with their more stringent rules. And a lot of that was like there's a whole bunch of those little Italian teams that always have a million doping violations every year. A whole bunch of them joined up, like Bardini and Southwest and Nippo and all those fucking little teams. And then every time anything happens, they all backed out. But I mean, in the last week, we had Orica drop out. Who the hell else? Somebody else dropped out recently. I don't know. No one's in it anymore except for Garmin, right? It's just Garmin by themselves.
Probably, yeah.
What team's Garmin?
Maybe a French team.
Cannondale.
Okay, thank you.
Cannondale. What are they now? Cannondale, Holowski.
I think it's just Cannondale now.
Fake, not actually using power meters in our pedals. Sponsored by power meters in our pedals. Did you guys see that last year when they were sponsored still by Garmin and they were like using SRMs even though they're supposedly their sponsor made a really great power meter. They just were like, yeah, no.
Hey, little guy, who's the?
We're just comparing the two.
Little guy, who's the team that's on the rotor group?
That's our favorite team, Dimension Data, man. Oh. God, I'm so excited about that, like hydraulic derailleur shit.
Have they had any failures or anything yet on it? I mean, so far so good. I think
only like 3 of their riders are actually using it right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think they're all on it yet. I think it's like 3 of them have prototypes, and that's it.
Was there so? Besides,
but no, I don't think they've had any failures.
So besides Loop, and then KBK, in the women's versions of Loop, and then there's another women's race on Sunday. Was there any other cool racing going on the calendar at all that people should be paying attention to?
Yes, there was. There was some good French racing. There was it was like the Sud Ardèche, which are all our French crazy listeners are going to correct me on this. And there's the La Drôme. Did you guys see this? It came on my feed. I was watching the French Eurosport feed for Kern, and they immediately, like, the race ended and they didn't even wait for the podium. They immediately switched to this La Drôme Classic French race. You guys see this?
Did not. No,
I did not.
Well, the same dude won both these races. This Petr Vakov dude who rides for Quick Step and is Czech and won 2 races in a row this weekend. And so Quick Step did have some success, just not where they gave a shit. But this La Drôme race was seriously awesome. Bunch of little climbs through like little French villages, super hilly. AG2R had their A game there, and they still couldn't pull it out. Oof. But I really liked watching this race. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I had to leave. But it kind of tapped into what is one of my favorite things about cycling and one of my least favorite things, which is that when it rains, it pours, and there'll be like 100 good races at the same time, which is cool.
Yeah.
But like that race, I didn't know anything about it. I guess it was like the 3rd or 4th year of it. It looked like a really fun race to watch, but like I had just watched a bunch of racing and like I had to be a normal human.
See, and now that's where we get back to the conversation that we had a few weeks ago about, is it time for some of these like quote unquote classics to step aside and let some new ones come through?
I don't think there's anything about stepping aside. I just wish, I know it's hard to run a weekday race, but like, man, could they just have ran that today or tomorrow or something? You know, like, so there's like a little, what is it, on Wednesday or Tuesday or one of these days this week in Belgium, there's that Le Samuel or something. It's like one of these little midweek classics. So there's some of that, but maybe that can't really exist in like France the same way it can in Belgium.
Well, yeah, it's because of the labor unions. You know, the farmers gotta. They can't.
Well, it does feel like Belgium is like the one country that can throw a Wednesday race and get like people just to come out. Because I don't think anybody works in Belgium. They just like drink and then watch bike races. As far as I can tell.
The great thing about a Wednesday race in Belgium is that Tyler Farrar could win it.
Exactly.
Oh, true.
Hey, maybe this week's the week, man. He gets back on the podium. I don't know if he's even riding in that race.
So what else is coming up, though?
Anyway.
So we have Paris-Nice and we have Torino Adriatico coming up, right? When's Strada Bianche?
Yeah. Next Saturday.
So that's
and
this
then
coming Saturday,
right? Yeah, and Paris-Nice starts next Sunday?
Yeah.
No, Torino starts next Sunday. Paris-Nice starts before that. I don't
Torino
fucking know.
starts
it
on the
all
9th.
overlaps.
Paris-Nice starts 6.
When Tim doesn't stick to the script, we don't know what's going on.
We didn't realize we were going to talk about Torino. No, but I mean, it makes sense. We should. Yeah, we got all this. I think AG2R is going to win everything in Paris-Nice, and Nibali is going to win everything in Torino.
But what about Strada Bianche? Come on, man. That's like the ultimate classic. That is the new classic that has elbowed its way onto the calendar, and it kind of answers Spencer's question there about, like, is it time for some of these other races to fall off the calendar? And it's like, dude, the Strada has just come in and said, screw you, we're taking our spot. What are you going to do about it?
I guess. I don't think they're sort of like, hey, how about we do a classic like right before you guys are all going to go to Reno?
Mm-hmm.
So who takes it?
I'm excited about
Fabian?
it.
Fabian with the win? Or is it going to be maybe a Christoph win?
No, I think
no, absolutely not.
Too hilly? Danilo De Luca going to come out of retirement?
Yeah, De Luca. No, I'm gonna go with a super dark horse that I don't even know if he's riding. Fabio Follin.
Oh.
Whoa.
So
that's okay.
Who you guys got?
Who do I have? I have Fabian Cancellara.
All right. A Fabio and a Fabienne. Spencer.
All right. Okay,
Caleb
Frank
McEwen.
Schleck. It is.
I haven't done any thinking about this race whatsoever yet, so I don't really have a pick. But I mean, obviously, your Steve R's are a good shot.
Oh,
your Fabian's a good shot.
Steve R's a good pick, Spencer.
But it's probably going to be Valverde. As much as I don't want to say that.
Oh,
You know, you guys, I'm starting to like Valverde. I think I'm coming around.
Why is that?
I think he's been working me. He's been slowly like destroying, like, because I like the way he races. He's in every race. He's aggressive. Yeah. Like I don't remember what little stage race he won like a couple weeks ago, but he beat TJ Van Garderen, which was pretty sweet. And he attacked.
For being an American podcast,
he attacked like at the bottom of the climb and put TJ in the hurt locker. And he attacked like 8K out and crushed TJ. TJ thought he was going to win his first like small stage race in Europe, and Valverde was like, "We're not having that shit." It's like, no, this is
Valverde
this
was
is
like,
terrible.
Hey, I heard you didn't even show up to arm wrestle little guy in Richmond, Virginia. So like, screw this. Yeah. I'm putting an end to it.
TJ was like, he doesn't like you either. And he's like, he's gonna like me after this. Watch this shit. 8K out, motherfucker. Try to follow. You can't. I don't know. I'm starting to like the way he races. Like speaking of Strada Bianca, was like last year, the year before, when that Roman Maxi race was still happening.
Oh, that was a good race.
Oh yeah,
that was a sweet race that unfortunately hasn't happened. But he got away and he went solo with the little guy from AG2R.
Sammy Dumas.
Yeah. No. And
he's small and he's on AG2R. Who else could it possibly be?
He's small. I don't think he's not on AG2R. He's on Confidus, isn't he? I was thinking of Posavillo. But anyway, Valverde.
He's tiny and Italian, so it would totally make sense with the story.
Yeah. Anyway, Valverde's he's kind of, I don't know, he's finding a place in my heart.
So would you
I get it.
Rate him in your top 10?
For Estrada? Yeah, if he's there, I think
No. Like, as your favorite racer, like, all things being equal and you forget the past, would you be like, I kind of like him. Like, he's one of my 5 favorites.
Yeah, I mean, like, forget the past. Yeah, he's obviously an exciting bike racer, and anytime you watch a race, you could just say Valverde is going to win this, maybe, and he'll at least, like, show himself.
Yeah, he does make it exciting.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. He makes it exciting. But remember when he rode a couple, like little minor cobbled classics last year to, like, get ready for the tour, and just, like, immediately just started, like, mixing it up with the cobbled specialists, and you're like, what has he been doing all these years? Like, he's good at these too, and he's sort of like, that was fun, but whatever. I'm gonna just go back and do races in Spain and Italy and never show up for these again. And you're like, but you were good. What are you doing?
Little guy loves Alejandro Valverde, Movistar rider. Not as good as Carlos Betancourt, but pretty close. You heard it here first.
Have any of us seen Carlos Betancourt this year?
There has not been a gummy bear
sighting.
There's not been a gummy bear sighting in a while since the jersey. There was the jersey unveiling. There's the picture of him in the jersey, looking. Is
that it?
Looking pretty good. I mean, just not. He doesn't need to come into form yet. He's not racing the Giro.
Okay. I wish we knew somebody who worked, who had an inside line on like what size jersey he had to order. If we could dig that out. Maybe if one of our listeners has any ties to Movie Star Team or whoever their clothing manufacturer is.
That would be good.
That would be amazing.
Really good. What?
That would be good.
Is he needs to start racing soon. Like, if he's going to do the Giro, he's got to at least start showing up to bike races soon. Showing up and like watching, having a hot dog on the side of the road. He doesn't have to race yet, but he's at least got to get a feel for like how the team bus parking situation works and like where the sign is. Get some autographs.
No, I think he needs to keep doing the secret Colombian training, right? Like mysterious training in the mountains, and then he comes out.
That's worked really well for him in the past.
He won the white jersey.
The thing is, when he trains in Colombia, he doesn't train, and when he trains in Europe, he actually trains.
It's true. I'm going to have to side with the little guy on this one.
All right. Hey,
Can you just hang out with the Quintana brothers?
Hey, we got.
I just don't see.
They're so good. Hey,
they dropped him.
But he dropped him.
He was like, "This must be the top of this mountain. I'm going to turn around and go down." I don't know how I missed him, but.
Hey, we got another.
I do have one other pick. I got one other pick for the race this weekend. Who I think might do well. I don't know if he's right, but
Arredondo. Yeah, we all know he's going to do well.
No, Arredondo from Trek. Tim, you like this because talking up the Trek guys. He had a terrible year last year. Had like back problems, but he was in those couple French races this weekend. He was showing up like decently in the results. He got like a top 10 one day. I think he's coming back. Back to his 2 years ago form, like where he was in the like climber's jersey at the Giro. So I dark horse. I think he's going to be there.
You and I were talking about how I have put in a request to get an interview with Edward Thunes of Trek Factory Racing. Yeah. And how one of the caveats of this request is that we get to be his very first interview after Tour de Flanders. So
no matter what happens.
No matter what happens. So if he gets 90th place, double flat tire, the first call he makes is to us, and we'll probably be the only ones on the line. But if he wins or gets top place Belgian, he can't do the Sporza feed. He's got to say, sorry, Renat, I need to talk to
breaking
the
his contract
podcast. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm kind of excited about this.
I like it. I think it's good.
I don't know what questions to ask him. Maybe it'll be about like, hey, what's your favorite emoji on Twitter? Because he seems to be pretty active on Twitter. But anyway.
I think we can come with some real questions like, hey, how'd you win? Or like, hey, how is it to step up to the World Tour after being on Top Sport for a few years? And like,
hey, what about those sensations?
Yeah, the sensations?
Yeah.
So,
they were good?
With that, we do need to get to 2 reviews that we got this week on iTunes. First is from Ty Guerin, just getting to know the guys. Very much enjoy the conversation and personalities. Content that every true life rider will enjoy and appreciate. Very glad I've added them to my rotation. Life rider is a little curious. Kind of, I don't even know what that means. Any ideas?
Sounds positive.
I don't know. It sounds like he wrote that while, in some kind of lifestyle camp or something. I don't know. I don't get it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like kind of hippie talk. I don't know. I give that review 3 stars.
Yep.
Well.
And our 67th.
I mean, I could see that.
Our 67th podcast review. Award-winning presenters. Champion. I knew things were serious when this podcast started following me on Twitter. Then they liked one of my tweets, and I was over the moon. My clout score must be unchartable. Love the podcast. Not sure there are podcast awards, but if so, these guys would definitely podium them. With podium bike present. My one complaint is not enough decades-old twin talk. These guys want decades-old twins talk. This guy does.
It's that.
All right.
Who was that? Was that Ty? Who?
No, that was Wayne
still our
Twilliger.
fan despite the Ken Herbeck incident.
That was a review from Wayne Twilliger.
Oh,
of the twins.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also known as Ron Gardenhire's opposite.
That's exciting news.
I got nothing else, guys.
Okay. So since you've broken character, we couldn't hear anything from either of those reviews.
Yeah,
like not a word.
All our responses to you were just us kind of just joking around. So if any of them actually fit and worked in any way, that's awesome. I look
totally
forward
do.
to hearing
It'll be
it.
Great. Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Maybe a Greenway story of some kind?
I have I have sort of a Greenway story. It's actually a Trading Post story. You guys remember Trading Post? One of the better roads to ride in Afton.
Ah, yes.
No, best way to start is it was like 50 in the 50s on Saturday, so everybody was out doing a group ride in Afton. I was out driving in Afton, not doing a group ride. But we turned on a Trading Post, and there was, this is like an exact figure, like 42 riders on the road. And it's where the road is kind of twisty and hilly, so they'd kind of go out of sight and you'd see half of them. And they were like spread out. Like this field was decimated. Somebody had put in the heart attack. And they were all over the fucking road. Like spread all across the road, going around corners uphill blindly on the wrong side of the street. It was really good. It was really great. It made me really happy. And so it took a really long time to pass them. And I was really pissed off at them. And I felt like a really pissed off driver the whole time. And I was a mad guy in a car because they were being total assholes. And I had to pass like 4 different groups because somebody had just destroyed this field. And then came over the last climb, and there was one rider really far ahead, almost to the corner. And they were in the tuck, getting arrow, drilling it. And I was like, holy crap. So we drive up and we go past him, and they're almost to the finish. And I look over, and it's Caleb Donaldson. You guys remember Caleb Donaldson? Local bike racer?
Oh, yeah.
He destroyed that ride. But, Caleb, I don't know if you listen to the podcast, but if you do, tell all the guys in your ride that you're destroying to stop riding like assholes, because they all rode like assholes, and were all over the road, and no one could hold their line. Everyone was like floating out into my lane and floating back in, floating out. It was really dumb. So don't ride like an asshole.
I guess that
should be rule number 1, yeah.
Now,
Should be rule
Spencer,
number 1. It was way too big for a group ride. I know, Tim, that's like standard group ride down in Florida. It's 40 plus people. But it was a mess. Oh, hello, Autobot.
Hi, it's Autobot Tim.
Tim has turned into a robot.
But that's okay.
We've lost him.
It's totally okay, guys. Because I can totally hear you guys, and it's going to be amazing.
Oh, good. I can hear you now.
So everything is fine. But, little guy, what's really strange to me about that entire story is that you were the asshole driver. Like, I never would have thought you would ever tell a story where you're the asshole driver.
I don't think I was an asshole driver. I was a mad driver. I was somebody that there was so many riders, and they were so spread out, like a group of 3 and then 2 people between the group and then another one. And at the same time, no one could hold their lines. So when I would go to pass anybody, they would 2 of them would be going 4 miles an hour up the hill, and they'd swing over really wide, and they're like, I wasn't a jerk driver. I think I very respectfully passed everybody, plenty of room.
So what you're saying is that you have put in your application. This is your resume to be a driver at a UCI level World Tour race, because you can do it without running people over.
Yeah, if I cannot run over a bunch of Cat 4.5s that are getting blown up on the first long training ride of the year, because they were probably like bonking really hard, some of them, and
heart rate's around 200.
And so they're not going to have a lot of control of the bike. I understand that. I would have probably been in the same physical position, but if I didn't run any of them over. And I even passed them in the van, so I had to like push it, to its
It was a van.
maximum to make an uphill pass.
Yeah.
I don't care. You're going 5, you're going 50. The van doesn't like to make uphill passes.
It's true.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So my application is
story.
in.
Thanks for being a horrible van driver.
I was super horrible. I didn't honk at anybody. We didn't even yell at anybody, though we thought about it.
You didn't even slide open the side door of the van and like scream encouragement at them, like, "Come on, come on!
That's true.
The red kite's right there."
Rather than like Caitlin rolling down the passenger window and saying something, it would have been cooler if she would have gotten in the back and just totally opened the door and then just yelled stuff out the side with the whole side door open.
Work together.
We have a lot of stuff in there we could have thrown at them.
Shift. Work together.
All right, guys.
Why isn't your bike titanium? You could have bought the Speed, but you didn't.
They were probably mostly titanium bikes.
Oh.
So, guys, that is the 95th episode of this podcast. I can't believe we've been doing this for over 2 years now. And I'd like to thank you and everyone that's listening. Also, BK1 of Rhyme Stars Entertainment for the intro and outro music. And you can always leave us a review on iTunes and Stitcher. The reviews, as you guys listened and heard, were not very good. One was okay. And then, secondly...
I heard only 5 stars.
And I think that, secondly, the most important thing is that you got to wave at your fellow cyclists. Unless they're overtaking the road, at which point you open up your van door and you yell encouragement at them like, work together. And I think that is the way that all car drivers need to treat cyclists that are maybe, giving cyclists a bad name. Rather than like honking at them and flipping them off, why don't you just tell them like, hey, you guys got to work together. You can catch them. I think that's the most appropriate way to do it.
Form an echelon. Do you guys know how to echelon? Okay, you're overlapping the wheel. Slow down a little bit. Things like that,
Yeah, real good stuff. And next week
Okay,
we'll be back.
You need to keep a megaphone in the van.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good. I don't have a megaphone in there. That's one of the few things I don't have in there.
Next week we'll be back with a review of Strada Bianca. And then, the start of Paris-Nice. And then a couple days later, Torino-Adriatico. We'll also maybe review the entire AG2R season because our French listeners
both Torino and Adriatico are going to be there?
Yeah.
Yep, both of them. And Tim, can we make sure we get an update on your Strava KOM hunt?
Definitely.
The Strava Hunter is out there. And tomorrow morning I got an early ride. And I'm going to start walking the section. I'm going to walk the segment to really learn where the good line is because it is a little bumpy. So I think that's the best part. I'm going to treat it like a UCI cross race where I walk the entire course before I actually go ride.
Yeah.
Oh,
Make sure you dial your pressure just right, though. You want to have just enough.
Yeah.
Keep the speed, but not too much that you don't float over those cobbles.
Yep, definitely check the temperature in the morning and the barometer and really dial it in, yeah.
We need to get the atmospheric pressure down because that's what's really going to dictate if I can take 3 seconds off in 0.2 of a mile.
Yeah.
So guys, I have a off-the-cuff suggestion here for a new outro to the show. We've been doing it, like you said, for 2 years. First year, we struggled to find the proper outro statement, and then we stumbled upon wave at all your other cyclists, which I still think is a great thing to say. But what if we sign off with and hey guys, remember, work together.
The Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter @TheSlowRidePod.